The Silicon Valley HealthCorps is an AmeriCorps program, which is a national service program that really focuses on increasing the amount of local fruits and vegetables grown, and also works to provide garden-based education to youth and adults in order to increase their knowledge and hopefully increase their healthy behaviors.
We are actually going into the homes of low-income families and teaching them how to grow their own organic vegetables. In the communities that I work in, there aren't any large supermarkets, so the quality of vegetables available to them in small markets is not as high grade, plus they're more expensive. So it's really important work that we're doing as a collaborative and as AmeriCorps volunteers to go into these communities and offer another way of getting the kind of vegetables that they want at a price that they can afford on their income level.
I'm very grateful with the program. My health is much better because Mesa Verde not just give you vegetables. You know, they tell you how to eat. They give you classes how to eat better. So I eat them better every day.
It's really important not just to teach children about where their food comes from, but to allow them or to create the opportunity for them to have the experience about where that food comes from. Once they discover for themselves, oh, that's how that artichoke comes off of there, or that's where all those Brussels sprouts grow on the vine, it just completely lights them up. And we hear from parents that kids are going with them to the grocery store and now they recognize a certain fruit or vegetable, they see it, and they ask the parent, can we get that? I know how to prepare that, let me do it. And suddenly it's a completely different dynamic.
I think the garden has been a great addition to our school. If students have engaged in gardening as youngsters and they really learn the ecology of gardening and how to use some plants in their own cooking and experiences, I can't help but think that in the future they wouldn't be doing this on their own. They would have gardens, they would pick nutritious foods, they would plant foods in their homes that are organic and better for them to eat. So I do think this will have a long-term impact on our students.
Veggielution is a community farm here at Frisch Park. We have about an acre that we cultivate. We feel that our community farm gives the community a place to come and work together on a common goal and think about eating healthy and actually cook and eat healthy food together. We've heard from a lot of volunteers that they have started eating more vegetables as a result. We actually send produce home with all of our volunteers, and so we always hear that people are trying out new ways of cooking, trying cooking vegetables that they've never cooked before.
We're really into engaging people at a high level here. We want people to feel ownership over the farm, and through labor, you know, and seeing the product of like a garden together, people really grow together and people start forming community naturally. We have these work days where there's this crazy random cross-section of San Jose, and I've seen some really great friendships begin between people who don't necessarily always communicate.
The Silicon Valley HealthCorps was actually initiated by a group of local community organizations, including our own, that wanted to expand the work that we were doing. And we saw that getting an AmeriCorps program started here in the South Bay, specifically focused on urban gardens and school gardens and connecting schools with local farms would be a great way to do that. The AmeriCorps members themselves have extended our work dramatically throughout the South Bay and are, I believe, going to make this one of the great areas for urban agriculture in the United States.
It's been a great experience doing the on-the-ground service work. Everything from starting gardens, digging the soil, turning compost, planting, to teaching other people how to do that. Kids, volunteers, people that are backyard gardeners. I've always thought that that is very important work, and I've never had the chance to do it directly. And to do it in a community setting has been really incredible.
for the HealthCorps, the AmeriCorps members I've seen them going through a great process of growth in their year of service. They learn a great deal about growing food, what it takes to take a vacant lot and turn it into a productive space. They also learn a lot about working with people, especially in the community, with the kids and with the families. And they develop all sorts of skills around communication, around program organization, and real leadership abilities through the process of serving with us in the Corps.
In its first year, the Silicon Valley HealthCorps has really been more successful than I could have ever imagined. We've reached an enormous number of students who have never had garden-based education before, who never knew how to grow a zucchini. We've also reached community members who don't have access to local fruits and vegetables. There's also a huge interest now in the Valley around increasing these gardens and garden-based education programs.
It's really important for us to have programs like the Silicon Valley HealthCorps because we have such great need in this community. We have folks who have access to enough calories, but they're not high-quality calories, and they have all sorts of health complications that come from these poor diets. And so we sort of see the gardens and the garden-based programs and the nutrition-based programs that we're developing as one way of bringing people together and getting them to work together for positive social change. So this has been a great program, and it's just getting started, and I think the impacts that we'll have over many years will be very, very impressive.
A lot of families have gathered around a common denominator around the garden and have really kind of enjoyed a new way of kind of experience life together as a family. It changes the family dynamic because they're all working together in the garden. At some point, they're all talking about it, and it just changes the narrative. Instead of talking about the issues in their community about how bad it is, then they talk about their garden. It kind of brings a new narrative to the conversation. The key to this whole thing is actually going deep into the community, working with families, and have them grow gardens like crazy.
I think this is a wonderful program, and it's come at a very perfect time because I think our society is ready for changing their culture and changing their actual lifestyle. People are ready to plant gardens in their backyards. People are ready to change how they eat. There's just so many layers that this work can go into, connecting people to their backgrounds, connecting people to each other, and connecting people ultimately to nature. I love this program, and I think it's extremely valuable for Silicon Valley. We should be leading the way. We're Silicon Valley. What did Silicon Valley used to be called? Valley of the Heart's Delight, so let's bring it back.